when you're going to face a force, you set your mind to it. And that is what we lost in our society. It's always comfort, 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 comfort. No, seek discomfort. Then discomfort becomes power. That's the point where you are learning.
Dude. Dang, that's the thing we lost in culture. He said one time, you need to come face to face. Well, what he says his ice baths are doing is coming face to face with your own mortality or your own death. He's like, if you come face to face with death every day, you'll never forget that you're alive. Like you'll never take life for granted. Hello, welcome to
another
episode of Learn With Us,
where we take videos that are worth your time
and we learn from them
with you.
Bam.
Cha-ching.
Today, I'm so pumped about this one. We're going to react to a recent interview, a bit of it, between Jordan Peterson, his daughter, and Wim Hof. Peterson and his daughter, I have seen next to nothing about them, heard a lot about them, but Wim Hof, I've been recently been trying his breathing techniques, and I am getting the feeling of inspiration from him, like I've gotten from some of maybe my top 5 most inspirational teachers that I've come across. That's the feeling that I'm getting already. Yeah.
Pretty much Jordan Peterson is a king of psychology and logic and such things. Very cognitive guy. Mm-hmm. I think his daughter is in a pretty similar boat because she was raised by him.
Yeah.
But I don't know too much about her. So if you guys know better, let us know. And Wim Hof is like a nature man.
Yeah.
Formed by the outdoors.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting intersection, these two types of people.
Just look at him. Look at him.
He is formed by the trees.
That is a man formed by trees. Yes. All right. Let's see what he has to say.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the relationship between this breathing technique and the cold therapy that you're using?
Yes. The cold therapy trains the cardiovascular system. Killer number 1 in society. What is it? Cardiovascular related diseases. Why? Because we wear clothes all the time. We are never exposed to the elements of nature, to cold, to heat.
So, one of the biggest things that he says is that exposure to the elements, especially to extreme elements, actually increases and helps your blood flow. And allows, he bases things based on his own experience, but also a ton of science, which is really interesting how he has this amazing intersect. I don't know if he'll reference it, but he oftentimes he'll say what he experienced and he'll talk about it in such an intelligent way, but then he'll say, oh, there's a study being done on it for anyone who might be skeptical about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it makes sense also that we function best also in little clothing because we don't think about the fact that, I mean, obviously we've evolved over time wearing clothes and stuff, and in colder climates you need it.
Yeah.
But we never really think about the fact that our largest organ is our skin, and that it is taking in so much stuff from our external that then probably relays a lot of information to our internals about how they should be functioning. So if you're experiencing these more extreme elements, you are probably building a body that's more versatile.
Absolutely.
It's always neutral. It's like a muscle and you don't train it. It's there, but it is this. That is our vascular system. Our vascular system is 100,000 kilometers long inside every body. And the thermoreceptors and the electroreceptors, they end up in our biggest organ of ours, which is the skin. We always got it covered. Logically, we have a cardiovascular related pandemic going on for hundreds of years already. And now I say, cold shower a day keeps the doctor away.
Okay, so how cold and how long?
It begins with 30 seconds. First, I explain. You know what happens when you go into a cold shower? You activate, you stimulate deeply the thermoreceptors and the pain receptor, thermoreceptors, electroreceptors, which is the neurology, all connected to the skin. They, in turn, they affect the vascular system, the cardiovascular system. Millions of little muscles suddenly are stimulated. They begin to optimize. Then the blood flow goes a lot better through the system. That is number one.
Like, just listen to him talk about it, how he goes through how the skin is stimulated by this cold, and then those receptors, the nervous system is stimulated by that, which then stimulates the vascular system within you, and then creates, like he said, this muscle that you're now training, whether it's you're dealing with heat or cold. But that's just thinking about how things are in a more natural state. Like, you wouldn't just be in this homeostasis of your, like, in your skin at all times, you know, always feeling super, super comfortable. Like, that's not natural, because at a certain point, if you're just exposing yourself to elements more often, that's really comfortable. In a certain way, like, that should be what's more comfortable.
The fact that my mom always said this growing up,
Yeah.
which I love, is during the winter, we heat our houses so that it feels like the summer. And during the summer, we cool our houses so that it feels like the winter.
Wow.
And really we're not going winter or summer, either one. We're bringing them both to a neutral state. And then if you're not spending time outside, you're in a perpetual neutral state.
Wow. That's so true.
And it's like the opposite of what he's saying,
It's
obviously,
so true.
which is the opposite of what everything evolving on Earth ever evolved to do.
Right.
Is to be a part of all of these elements around you.
Then the second thing, if you regularly, you begin with 30 seconds, then you do 45 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute and a quarter, etc. You go up to 2.5 minutes a day. Why? Because that is the vascular fitness exercise the best. Then cardiovascular related diseases, and that is also inflammation into the head, inflammation into our neurology, is goodbye. How simple.
Yeah, the way he talks is awesome.
The way, I was just thinking that. Like, you can see, have you ever seen such passion? He's just like, he's just passionate to the max.
Yeah. He was talking about how a lot of the cardiovascular issues we have are caused by inflammation.
Yeah.
Inflammation in general is a huge issue in the West. I don't know about other places, but I think everywhere that's living in this more office job style thing. And new research is also saying the whole idea of grounding is something that you guys should look into.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much that the Earth has an electrical charge where it has a lot more electrons than we do because it's constantly in touch with the weather.
Yep.
And when we spend so much time disconnected from the ground, we lose that electron buildup. And those electrons are things that help blood flow cleanly and not clot.
Yeah.
So that one of the biggest reductions in inflammation that you can have is spending 2 minutes to like 10 minutes a day. I forget what all the studies say, but it's around there. Barefoot on the ground outside because it resets your electrical buildup, which resets the way that your blood is flowing.
And ideally, you'd be doing it even more than that.
Exactly.
Way more.
If we had jobs that were actually fulfilling for us, like working outside and that actually engaged us with the world around us, at least we should be doing something where that's part of your day.
Yeah.
You know, like that's half of your day. Your other half, you can sit and do things indoors and take advantage of all like the really cool things we've developed. But we got to do that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And not forget about the thing that we evolved with.
Absolutely.
What happens that the heart rate, when all these little millions of little primitive muscles in the hundreds of thousands of blood vessels inside are activated, optimized, then the heart rate suddenly doesn't need to compensate for the loss of the vascular condition. And then the heart rate will go down with 20 to 30 beats a minute, 24 hours a day. You see what kind of stress that would be? If you have a weak vascular system in tone, then it takes maybe years, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, but it will take its toll. Because the heart rate, when it goes up, it triggers directly the liver to release cortisol and glucose. It's like you are in fight and flight.
Oh my gosh.
This reminded me of the first time when I started really caring about what I ate.
Yes.
And then within like 2 weeks of that time, it started to feel I didn't even, it's not something you cognitively even thought about, but I was just so much lighter on my feet. I could recover faster after sports. I could just keep like, I had more energy than before.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was all, it felt like my system had been oiled properly.
Hey man, it will take its toll soon or later. So the people, they gotta wake up. Cold shower, the best thing you can do for yourself is a cold shower.
How cold?
And then, just a cold.
It just, I keep forgetting that Jordan Peterson and his daughter are on this episode, but it just feels like they're both like, like I'm not really with this. And it's just like, I feel like
how cold?
Just, yeah,
like,
how,
bro, just turn it to cold.
That's the question. It's just but
he's gonna get up there with a thermometer and be
the
proper temperature.
I think cold showers are so hard to take in the winter, like you've been saying, because I was taking them all summer, like so often all summer, or we'd be going in the water constantly into this cold water that I feel like that was doing a lot of what he was saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's really hard during the winter, and it makes me think of,
we also live in a place with a lot of snow.
A lot of snow.
Freezing temperatures all winter long.
Yeah. And so for us, I feel like what I've been trying to do is just spend more time outside where I'm a bit colder. And maybe like in the hopes that will sort of be as though I'm taking a cold shower or something, do a similar thing to my body.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd love to just spend time outside and then be able to just like take a warm shower and warm up from that.
You start with 30 seconds.
Yes, it begins with 30 seconds because I say don't force. Because maybe 90% of the people go well. You guys, you will go well.
Also, how he's saying you don't need to force it. It's if things feel like a force. My mom would tell me this all the time. It's like if you're trying to make a big jump in your life and it feels like a force, either you're doing it wrong or it's not the right time for you and you shouldn't be forcing that. Of course, we want to all become enlightened or more awakened or want to make this huge step. But if it's not our time, it's not our time, and it'll never last if we're making that huge leap and we're not ready.
Yeah.
You know, you got to really listen to yourself and know when you're ready and know when you're not forcing things.
Yes. This is making me think about a Sadhguru episode that we have coming up.
Yeah.
On the purpose of life.
Yeah.
He talks all about having a strong base. Before you open up to everything else in life, you need to have these fundamentals. And it feels like Wim Hof is like, this is how you build that strong base.
Exactly.
This is how you make this machine, this living organism, the groundwork that we need.
Yes, absolutely.
And the way nature meant it to be is that the skin is, we have skin. We have electroreceptors and thermoreceptors and pain receptors all going to the skin to give us the information of what is going outside in life. But
would you recommend
covered it up.
Would you recommend doing this in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening?
Whenever you take the shower.
Okay.
You take them nice and warm, etc. It's all nice, but then to also take the cold one. We just recently have done a new study on that. It really improves within 10 days the cardiovascular system, which is directly related to the neurology, by the way. Yeah? The opening and closing of all those, the activating of those muscles to open and close all the veins, arteries, and capillaries. I mean, 100,000 kilometers is done by the neurology, the nervous system. So if any defect is there in the nervous system, you will get to it through a cold shower, increasing.
Well, so the cold shower is 30 seconds, and you can also use a warm shower afterwards if you want, yes?
Warm, before. In the beginning.
You should end with the cold shower.
Yes. And then after 10 days, you like to begin with cold. Which is better. Why? Because then your mind comes into play. Because you know you are going into the cold. Then you connect with the stress mechanisms inside yourself. You become stronger when you know you are facing danger.
Okay.
That was fire.
Okay.
That was fire.
I'm connecting this with another interview that I saw with him.
Okay.
This is one of the craziest things that he says.
Yeah.
He says, there are things, so when you are feeling anxious or stressed, you're activating these receptors in you that trigger your adrenaline and your fight or flight.
Yeah.
And he says that the way that you can, and I mentioned earlier, he talks about being able to control your mind and gather control over your mind. The way that you do that is create a scenario where you're creating that adrenaline spike or that fight or flight mechanism within you, and you recognize this is something that is actively going on inside of you that you have control over.
Yeah.
Which just connects so well to what Sadhguru says as well.
Yeah.
About how you do have much more control over your existence than you think and how you can be.
It seems like all of these people who are now, what's so cool with the internet is they're blowing up. They're getting all this attention because they're doing things that just work. And they're very simple practices. Mm-hmm. But what you'll notice in all of them is that it's all about the ideas of empowering the way you use the simple things that you are born with.
Yes.
And it's not about trying to, like, so much of the culture is buy this thing so that X.
Yeah.
And it's all about, no, you are this thing.
Yes.
So learn to use it properly.
Yes.
When you're going to face a force, you set your mind to it. And that is what we lost in our society. It's always comfort, 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 comfort. No, seek discomfort. Then discomfort becomes power. That's the point where you are learning. And there you get new power. You go past the conditioning. And that it's amazing what the cold can teach us.
Dude.
Dang, that's the thing we lost in culture. Is seek discomfort, because discomfort means growth and strength and power.
Yes. He said one time, you need to come face to face. Well, what he says his ice baths are doing is coming face to face with your own mortality or your own death. He's like, if you come face to face with death every day, you'll never forget that you're alive. Like you'll never take life for granted.
Yeah.
Dude, recognizing the fleeting thing we have here of life.
Ooh.
And
how beautiful that fleeting thing is.
Oh yeah.
You don't appreciate you only appreciate it if you understand that it's fleeting.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go, dude. So much good stuff from the Hofster.
The Hofster. Yeah, I love Wim Hof. If you have any thoughts on anything he said or any of the other stuff that you know about him. If you've been trying like any of his techniques, I'd love to hear like how that's going, because I've been trying to, like, ever since I actually just watched my first video with him, I'm like, okay, this guy's
got stuff.
I want to follow this man in some way. And so I'm just trying to learn.
Like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, hit the bell for notifications.
All right.
Thank you for learning with us. It's been a pleasure.
Much love, everyone.
Much love.